My online identity is Mr. Sugar, and I write a weblog called The Coconut Wireless. Mr. Sugar and Coconut Wireless both refer to my time as a Peace Corps volunteer in the South Pacific nation of Vanuatu. I spent 2 years there with my wife as a volunteer in the 90s, swinging in a hammock. I swung in the hammock alone. My wife was in her own hammock. Swinging in a hammock, reading about dot-com millionaire 20-somethings, people my age, cashing out and traveling around the world, and actually met someone who had cashed out and was sailing around the world. So I'm still trying to make my fortune here. So I'm part of my selfish reasons and inviting you here to learn from you and try to become wealthy. In our little village of Liro, an old man named Louis was the chief. And when he wanted to gather the people for a meeting, he drummed a tam-tam. And I brought in a replica. This is called a tam-tam. This is a replica of something that would be 6 feet tall or something, stuck into a ground near the chief's residence. And the chief would bang on it a couple times, and it was hollowed out so it would reverberate throughout the village. And villagers would often be in the gardens when they heard this, and they would call to each other with a hooey. And the call would go from garden to garden, and people would understand that they were being called down to a meeting. Now, fast forward to today. Paul Jones and I wanted to gather fellow bloggers for a talk about online communities. We rang the online equivalent of a tam-tam. We posted to our weblogs. Many of you amplified that call, just as the villagers would do in their garden. You amplified that call with blog postings of your own or email postings. So these are the two examples. Two examples of community, the traditional meet in the public commons kind, and the more recent online kind. We're here to speak about both, and especially about how weblogs can be the tool to build those communities. Again, I'm eager to learn from your dialogue. Part of my desire to convene the BloggerCon was to learn how to build my family weblog and my university alumni class weblog into more active, successful communities. So again, I want to learn from you. I hope we're all here to learn from each other. Paul inspired this BloggerCon with his engaging online community seminar that he teaches at the J School every fall. In that seminar, he asks students to explore the ways that influence, social capital, reputation, and status are manifested in cyberspace. We may hit on many of those theoretical aspects today, though I hope we'll also highlight the design choices and practical decisions that help to build online and offline communities. Triangle Blogger Conference also owes a lot to Ed Cohn and Dave Hoggard and the Piedmont Triangle Bloggers Conference they organized last fall, as well as the vibrancy and activity in Greensboro blogging community that's getting a lot of press and attention, and as well as the News and Record and what they're attempting there. So thank you to them for their inspirations. Again, the broad theme of our BloggerCon is weblogs as tools to build community. It's a free conference, but there is a price for admission. You are expected to share your experiences, your ideas, your questions, your failures, and I hope your successes. Not everyone here today is a blogger, but each of you is part of many communities. Each of you should feel free to speak. Though if your questions are about the basics of creating and writing a weblog, I have a tutorial called Blogging 101, which will be linked on the conference wiki page. There are a number of people here who can give you a how-to and get you started with weblogging before you even leave today. I often compare a blog to a pencil and argue that it's what both are used for that is so much more interesting than what each is. So let's get this out of the way. A blog is a frequently updated web page for self-expression, and it includes lots of links. So you may argue with that, fine, but let's discuss what this tool allows us to do when building communities.